Captain Aaron Markov pressed his forehead to the cool viewport, watching the pale blue swirl of varying cloud currents drift beneath the Artemis. 15,000 years of drifting through fringe space, mapping forgotten star systems, logging cosmic anomalies, had prepared him for wonders, but not for what he now beheld. Human banners, scarlet and gold, snapped in the solar wind above shorn stone towers once sacred to the Varian Empire. "It can't be," breathed Lieutenant Sira Tuval at his side, fingers wrapped tight around her data pad. They'd crossed the threshold of the ancient war zone at hyperspeed, expecting echoes of ruin. Instead, human cruisers hovered in disciplined formation, their sleek hulls reflecting the pale sun. At the center gleamed the Palem monolith, its obsidian spire crowned by a human coronal. The sight was defiance and desecration all at once. "Hail them," Aaron ordered. He keyed his comms, voice steady despite the tremor in his gut. "This is Captain Aaron Markov of the United Varian Scout Corps. State your intent." The reply crackled, clipped with human precision. "Welcome back, Varian Captain," said a calm voice. "I am Regent Caden Frost of the Terran Human Systems. We claim this world by right of exploration. Surrender the throne, and no harm will come to your people." "You've overrun our home," Sira spat, eyes bright with anger. "We never surrendered. 15,000 years, we endured exile, fought for survival, only to come home and find ourselves dethroned by primitives." Aaron placed a hand on her shoulder. "We will not provoke a massacre. Prepare a landing party." He turned back to the viewport. The blue-white planet below was littered with human settlements, grid-like cities, sprawling docks, gaslit forges where human architects carved out new palaces in Varian style. On the main deck, engineer Tesman Ryle studied the readouts. "Life signs are stable," he reported. "We're clear for descent." His gaunt frame looked almost fragile beneath the dim command lights. 30 years old, he'd grown up hearing legends of the Empire's fall. Now, reality thundered through his veins. The Artemis dropped through the atmosphere in a silent glide. Gusts of wind buffeted the hull as great columns of human-built structures loomed closer. The landing platform nestled in what had once been the High Council's courtyard, a carved circle of crystal that pulsed faintly with Varian energy. Now it bore the scars of human foundations, steel girders, electric lanterns, banners proclaiming human stewardship. The ramp descended, and Aaron led his team onto the cracked quartz floor. Sira's boots crunched on debris, fragments of Varian statues, rotted petals of once sacred blooms. The air smelled faintly of ozone and heated metal. A cadre of human marines stood at attention, rifles slung across their shoulders, helmets reflecting the harsh light. Their commander, a stern-faced woman in a ceremonial tunic, stepped forward. "Welcome, Captain Markov," she said. "I am Major Ellen Jorgensen. The Regent awaits your audience." Aaron inclined his head. "Thank you, Major. Show us to the Regent." They walked through a corridor half-carved from Varian ivory and half-welded with human alloys. Flickering holoportraits lined the walls, humans and Varians shaking hands, treaties signed in bold letters. Sira's jaw clenched at each image. "Propaganda," she muttered. In the great hall, the throne stood empty, a dais of polished obsidian next to a human dais of steel. Behind it, the regent's chair, an elegant blend of both, sat under a canopy of flickering light. Caden Frost rose as they entered, tall, with ash-blonde hair and eyes colored like early dawn. He offered a measured smile. "Captain Markov," he greeted. "I celebrated your homecoming. We have much to discuss." Aaron nodded. "We reclaimed nothing yet, Regent Frost. This is our world, and we demand at least a council seat before any negotiations." Frost's expression shifted, hardening. "You demand? You will kneel. Humans fought to perfect this empire. We have rewritten its laws to include worlds that once feared you. We do not kneel." Sira stepped forward, voice echoing. "We remember the empire you destroyed. We will not trade one tyranny for another." Frost gestured to his aides. Human guards flanked Aaron's crew. Then you leave us no choice, Frost said softly. Open fire. For a heartbeat the hall held its breath. Varian and human weapons drew tight. Aaron raised a hand. No, he locked eyes with Frost. We seek dialogue, not death. The regent hesitated. Behind Frost, the human counselors whispered. At the far end, a Varian elder, Ambassador Raven Dyer, watched with mournful eyes. He raised a trembling hand. Dialogue, he echoed. Let us speak. Aaron exhaled, tension loosening. Let us speak, he agreed. Outside, the courtyard lights winked on, illuminating the broken petals beneath their feet. 15,000 years of exile had brought them here, to this fragile moment. The Empire's fate would be decided by words, not blades, if they could all find the will to talk. The hidden vault beneath the Palace of Reconstruction thrummed with low-frequency hums of ancient Varian machinery repurposed by human engineers. Lieutenant Sira Tuvel stood at the head of a circular stone table carved from crystallite, her shoulders squared beneath the muted glow of rebellion lanterns. Around her sat the last surviving members of the Varian High Council, their faces etched with age and betrayal, Elder Corian, whose 3 crystalline eyes had wept for centuries, General Varus, once commander of the Imperial Legions, and Spymaster Length, whose network of shadow agents had kept the old empire safe. Ambassador Raven Dyer lingered at the edge, silent as smoke, his robe stained with dust and hope. We have 15,000 years of history beneath our feet, Sira began, voice firm. She tapped the table's surface, illuminating an ancient star chart. And in 15 minutes, humans have overwritten every decree. They occupy our seat of power, repurpose our monuments, rewrite our legacy. Tonight, we decide if we reclaim our empire, or if it ends here. Elder Corian's throat clicked. We cannot charge the palace gates with swords drawn, he warned. Their weapons are new, their defenses perfected. The last time we tried open war, we lost everything. General Varus slammed a fist against his knee. And what of our dignity? Do we kneel before the regent like cattle? Our ancestors forged stars, charted cosmic corridors, yet here we cower in catacombs, begging for counsel. Sira let the silence stretch. Our strength lies not in relics or walls, but in unity, she said quietly. But unity demands sacrifice. First, trust, she gestured to Raven Dyer. Ambassador, your proposal. Raven stepped forward, his voice a canticle of sorrow. I propose a gathering with Regent Frost, on Varian terms. We reclaim one council seat in the human assembly. We secure a seat of governance, not as supplicants, but as equals. From that platform, we can negotiate the return of key sanctuaries, the Crystal Archives, the Forging Halls, the Skybridge Council Chamber. Length's dark eyes glittered. And if they refuse? Then we reveal their holdings, Raven replied. We leak to every human colony the truth of their conquest, that they occupy stolen worlds with stolen fire. Colonies aligned with our cause may rise in solidarity. General Varus snorted. Empty threats. The human networks are massive, they will crush any uprising. Sira interjected, which is why we need leverage beyond words. We strike at the monolith's core, she tapped another rune on the chart, projecting a hologram of the Palem monolith. The data sphere within contains ancient Varian tech, force lattice projectors, cloaking matrices, the quantum decryption keys. If we recover it before humans extract every secret, we regain an edge. Elder Corian closed his eyes. The monolith lies under their central vault, guarded by their elite regent's guard. We cannot storm it. Nor must we, Length said, leaning forward. Our agents within the palace, human collaborators who resent Frost's heavy hand, can give us access codes. We need one strike team to disable the locks, recover the sphere, and vanish into the Undercity. Varus narrowed his gaze at Sira. You would risk traders, our best technologies, and half our remaining forces on a covert raid? One successful raid is worth 100 pitched battles, Sira replied. Without our tech, any war is doomed. But with it, we reclaim not just our world, but the power to negotiate galaxy-wide alliances. Raven placed a hand on Varus's arm. Peace built on power, General. That is our path. Silence fell. The council weighed blood and exile, hope and ruin. Sira felt the ancient weight of empires in their hush, saw the flicker of resolve reignite in weary eyes. Finally, Elder Corian spoke. So be it. We grant you the authority to lead the strike. May the spirits of our ancestors guide your blade. Sira inclined her head. Thank you, Elder. We strike at first light, she turned to Raven and Length. Assemble the team. Contact our hidden allies in the palace. Varus, marshal our scouts to secure escape routes. Corian, bless the mission. One by one, they rose. General Varus nodded curtly, Spymaster Length melted into the shadows, and Elder Corian placed a hand on the table's crystalline rim, murmuring an invocation in the Varian tongue. When they departed, only Sira and Raven remained in the vaulted chamber. Raven's silver hair caught the lantern light as he studied the deserted table. You carry a heavy burden, Lieutenant, he said softly. Sira exhaled. We carry thousands of generations. If we fail, if the sphere is lost, we extinguish our chance at redemption. Raven offered her a small vial of elixir, its liquid swirling with ember-like motes. Drink. It will steady your nerves. Hesitant, Sira accepted and swallowed. Warmth spread through her veins, sharpening her focus. Thank you. At dawn, Raven said, the monolith's secret will be in our hands, or ours will be the ashes left behind. Sira squared her shoulders. Then let us make those ashes the spark of our resurgence. Beyond the vault, the moonlight washed the palace spires in pale silver. Above it, humans slumbered in their borrowed empire, unaware that in the shadows, the heart of Varian defiance beat strong, ready to reclaim its destiny. Rebel leader Kaylee Var moves through the narrow tunnel like a shadow, her boots silent on the damp stone floor. The air here tastes of ash and old tears, a lingering reminder of Varia's fall. Flickering torchlight from makeshift lanterns casts long, restless shadows on the walls, shadows that seem to whisper stories of lost glory. Kaylee's breath is steady, her heart a quiet drumbeat of purpose. She's come to this undercity beneath the human palace not as an intruder, but as the spark of a burgeoning uprising. Behind her, a half-dozen fighters follow, Jorin, the burly ex-legionnaire whose right arm is etched with battle scars, Melia, the stealthy scout who once mapped the Empire's border worlds, and Dre, a young engineer clutching a satchel of stolen explosives. Each carries a single torch, each wears the grim resolve of those who fight for something greater than themselves. Are you sure this passage leads to the vault? Dre asks, voice hushed. Kaylee nods. Our spies inside the palace at least hinted that there's a drainage conduit here. It winds beneath the human council chambers and opens into the monolith vault subbasement. If we time it right, we slip in, grab the sphere, and vanish before the alarms sound. Jorin grunts. I've seen your plans, Kaylee. But these corridors shift like living things. One wrong turn and we'll emerge in a patrol corridor. Kaylee glances back at him with a faint smile. Then we'll let the tunnels guide us, not the other way around. She pauses at a fork where 3 tunnels converge. The map she memorized is crude, a hand-drawn sketch by Spymaster Length. Here, the ceiling is lower, the air thicker. She touches a rune carved into the wall, a signpost only Varian rebels would know, Path of the Phoenix. Turning left, she leads them deeper. They walk in silence until Melia raises a finger. Ahead, 2 humanoid shapes patrol a junction in the dark. Their breath puffs faint white clouds. Kaylee ducks behind a protruding rock. Silence, she whispers. Let me handle this. She steps forward, torch held low. The guards don't see her until she's almost upon them. One swings a baton, she catches it with her wrist, pivots, and slams the guard's head into the stone. The second guard reacts too slowly, Kaylee's foot snaps out, sending him sprawling. Both fall unconscious. Nice, Jorin mutters as they bind the guards and slip past. Melia retrieves data chips from their belts. Patrol patterns, guard codes, timings, enough for one infiltration. Good work. They press on until the tunnel opens into a vast cavern lit by bioluminescent fungi clinging to jagged walls. Water drips from stalactites into shallow pools. At the far end, an old Varian rail line stretches into darkness, a relic of when the Empire carved veins under the city to transport starship parts. Now it's abandoned. The rail leads straight under the central vault, Kaylee says. She moves to a rusted cart and tests its wheels. They're frozen. Dre sets to work, prying the mechanism loose. Sparks fly. Give me 2 minutes, he whispers. Jorin kneels by the water's edge and checks his pulse. We've only got one shot at dawn. After that, human shift changes and the palace is on high alert. Kaylee crouches beside him. I know. She scans the cavern, arches carved with Varian glyphs meant to honor the old sovereigns. Many are chipped beyond recognition. This empire once spanned 1,000 star systems, she murmurs. Now look at it, she places a gloved hand on the rail. We're the ember in its ashes. Dre frees the cart. Ready, he flicks a lever. The cart lurches and rattles forward. They climb in. Kaylee lights a small lantern and tucks it within arm's reach. Hold tight. The rails creak as the cart jolts along the track. Dust falls like gray rain. Torchlight dances off water-streaked walls. Every moment, Kaylee knows, could be their last unobserved breath. Finally, they crest a slope and the tunnel widens into a maintenance corridor running directly beneath the monolith vault. Above, heavy footfalls echo faintly, human guards making their rounds. We're here, Kaylee whispers. She disembarks, and they haul the cart aside. The corridor is sealed by a reinforced bulkhead, more human steel than Varian alloy. Beside it, an electronic keypad blinks. Kaylee produces a stolen code chip. Dre inserts it, and the panel flickers green. With a hiss, the door slides open. Beyond is a narrow stairwell leading up, and up. They ascend quietly, breath muffled, until they hear the distant hum of energy fields. Kaylee holds a finger to her lips. Vault door ahead. At a fork, the corridor branches. Melia peers at the guard chip data. Left corridor, 5 paces, then right. She leads them through a hidden panel, then stops. There, 4 guards by the door. So much for small team, Jorin mutters. Kaylee raises a hand. We neutralize quietly. She turns to Dre. 3 charges, place them on the locks. To Melia, you and I handle the guards. To Jorin, you cover our exit. They split. Dre kneels by the vault's triple locks, planting micro-explosives. Melia slips behind 2 guards, crouches, and brings both down with silenced blades. Kaylee takes down the last with a swift choke hold. The corridor falls deathly silent. Charge is set, Dre whispers. 10 seconds. Kaylee nods. Stand back. A muffled boom vibrates through the walls. The locks explode outward. The vault door swings open. Inside, perched on a crystalline pedestal, shines the ancient Varian data sphere, a translucent orb swirling with fractal threads of light. Its power pulses like a heartbeat. Kaylee steps forward, awe softening her features. The core, she breathes. Dre cuts the orb's containment field with a handheld disruptor. The sphere levitates into his arms. The runes on its surface glow bright amber. We have it. Alarms blare. Red lights whirl. The tunnel shudders as human rapid response teams mobilize above. Kaylee's voice is firm. Move. They race back through the corridor, charges still smoldering on the bulkhead. Jorin meets them at the rail car, gun blazing to cover their retreat. Bolt casings spark on stone as human shots ring out. The cart hurtles down the slope, carrying them back into the fungal-lit cavern. Dre cradles the orb, its glow illuminating his determined face. "They're behind us," Melia shouts. She juggles a torch and a blaster. Kaylee grips the cart's side. "Hold on," she shouts. The cart speeds over broken rails, rounds the bend, crashes through the tunnel opening. They spill into the cavern, hit the floor, and scramble to their feet as the cart's wheels screech to a halt. Human Marines burst through the entrance, rifles raised. Kaylee steps forward, orb held aloft. The light casts her silhouette across the cavern walls. "Stop," she commands. "This belongs to Varia." For a heartbeat no one moves. Then Jorin hefts a tube grenade. "Make room." A single blast sends human boots flying. Kaylee grabs Dre's arm. "Now." They dash back toward the fork, sprint down the tunnel, hearts pounding. Behind them, the alarms recede into the distance as the explosives they left behind seal the vault and trap pursuing forces. Kaylee pauses at the fork, pressing a hand to her chest as she watches Dre clutch the sphere. The orb's fragile glow reminds her of every Varian soul whose blood was spilled in exile. She exhales, voice steady, "We carry Varia's future." Melia and Jorin exchange exhilarated grins. Jorin nods. "Let's get home." They melt back into the labyrinth, the orb's light forging a new path through the darkness, an ember guiding their people toward reclaiming the Empire. Tesman Ryle hunched over the ancient orb in the dim glow of the rebel forge, each ripple of light across its surface casting ghostly patterns on his gaunt features. The Varian data sphere pulsed in his hands, its fractal threads weaving themselves into circuits only he could decipher. Around him, the sound of hammers and welders drifted faintly from the makeshift workshops where rebels repurposed human alloys into weapons and armor. But here, in this secluded alcove beneath the palace, the only pulse that mattered was the sphere's heartbeat. "It's alive," Tesman whispered, voice hoarse with awe. "It's still conscious of Varia." He ran his fingers across the orb's smooth surface, tracing the runes that flared amber whenever his touch passed. "They built this to store the very soul of our empire." Ambassador Raven Dyer stood behind him, robes stained with soot and sweat. His eyes, 3 in number, shone with anxious hope. "How long until we understand its language?" he asked. His voice was soft but urgent, the weight of 1,000 years pressed on him. Tesman exhaled, glancing up. "I've never seen Varian encoding so complex. The humans barely scratched the surface before they disabled it. But with this interface," he tapped a neural liaison implant at his temple, "I might coax it into revealing its secrets." He activated the link. Tiny tendrils of pale light emerged from the sphere, wrapping around his implant in a dance of electricity and memory. Tesman's vision blurred as he plunged into the data stream. Fractal corridors of knowledge unfolded, star charts, population registers, treaty documents, weapon schematics, philosophical treatises. So much had been lost in the Empire's collapse. So much lay hidden in this single sphere. Tesman gasped, leaning forward. Raven moved to steady him. Raven murmured. "Stay with me." "I'm okay," Tesman panted. He shook his head, clearing the haze. "That was incredible, and dangerous. Every memory, every secret bleeds straight into my mind. I saw the forging halls, the crystal archives, the celestial vaults. I saw voices, our ancestors speaking truths we forgot." Raven's 3 eyes glimmered with relief and resolve. "What did you find?" Tesman took a trembling breath. "The core technology, Varian lattice projectors that can bend light, cloak entire fleets, decimate energy shields. They're encoded here. And more, I found the coordinates of the Elders' stronghold on the moon of Arcanes. It's where the original council retreated during the Great Purge. They built a hidden armory there. Raven's shoulder shifted with barely contained excitement. An armory? Weapons beyond anything humans possess. Yes, Tesman replied, voice low. Quantum phase pulse cannons, nanoweave armor that self-repairs, and the process to manufacture them, if we can reactivate the old foundries. He closed his eyes, as if recalling distant echoes. We could equip our people for a true liberation. Raven nodded, expression grave. This changes everything. But we must move carefully. The humans will send their own engineers to analyze the sphere. We have little time. Tesman's fingers grazed the orb again. We need to extract the data, copy it, and destroy this vessel before they recover. But to do that, I'll need time, several hours at least, and steady power. The Forge's generators are unstable, and the palace is on high alert after the raid. Raven surveyed the room. Old Varian conduits lined the walls, snaking toward a massive reactor core repurposed by human technicians. Sparks flickered from exposed cables. We can reroute power from the central grid, Raven said. I'll send word to General Varus to hold any large-scale assaults for the next 6 hours. He owes us a favor after the tunnel evacuation. Tesman gave a tight nod. Good. I'll work in shifts. Melia and Jorin can stand guard. But Raven, there's something else. Raven cocked his head. What is it? Tesman swallowed hard. While scanning the archives, I encountered a locked partition, something even the Council didn't know. It references a Varian myth, the Song of Creation, an encoded sequence that can rewrite reality at the quantum level. If true, it could rewrite history, or annihilate entire systems. Raven's robes shifted as he drew in a breath. A myth made real? The data suggests it's an experimental framework, never deployed, too dangerous. But if humans or zealots learn of it, Tesman's voice trailed off. We can't let that happen. Outside, muffled footsteps echoed as human patrols searched the Undercity for rebel traces. Trill of alarms from distant corridors reminded them time was scarce. Tesman steadied his gaze on Raven. We secure the sphere, copy all segments, then obliterate the containing vessel. We take only the raw data. Raven placed a hand over Tesman's. You're risking yourself to carry our heritage forward. We owe you more than words. Tesman offered a weary smile. For Varia's future, I'll do anything. He keyed a portable console to the orb. Holographic runes swirled around him. Initiating full decryption. As the orb's light intensified, Tesman's silhouette glowed amid the Forge's shadows. Outside, the Undercity trembled with anticipation. They had seized the monolith's secret, now they would wield it to reclaim their empire. Yet in the labyrinth beneath a stolen palace, the most potent weapon of all remained untested, the will of a people who refused to kneel. Ambassador Raven Dyer stands at the threshold of the Regent's Sky Bridge, the great concourse of glass and steel that overlooks the heart of the reclaimed Varian capital. Behind him, the crystal spire of the Palem monolith gleams under the twin suns, its fractured surface now patched with human alloys and humming with both Varian and Terran circuitry. Raiding the sphere gave them hope, now Raven carries their fate in measured words. His escort, Captain Lena Roberts of the Human Regimental Guard, treads lightly beside him. Her armor bears the insignia of the Terran human systems, and her expression is unreadable, a tapestry of duty and curiosity. You may proceed, Ambassador, Lena says, voice calm. Regent Frost expects you. Raven inclines his head, smoothing the folds of his robe. Each wrinkle is a memory of exile, each shimmering eye reflects centuries of longing. He steps onto the sky bridge, heart steadying as he greets Caden Frost. The Regent sits behind an angular desk carved from Varian crystal, a glass of amber liquid at his side. Frost's posture is relaxed, but his eyes flick to the concealed blades at his belt, a reminder that trust is a fragile thing. Ambassador Dyer, Frost says, standing. His voice is courteous, yet cool. I trust your journey beneath the palace was fruitful. Indeed, Regent, Raven replies, bowing slightly. The data sphere has revealed truths we believed lost. But my purpose today is not technology, it is peace. Frost gestures to two chairs facing his desk. Please, sit. Raven lowers himself into the polished seat, feeling the weight of history settle in the silence between them. We propose a shared governance, Raven begins, voice resonant. A bicameral council where Varian and Terran representatives legislate side by side. We seek 1/4 of the seats initially, to restore our cultural institutions, the crystal archives, the forging halls, the celestial chorus. In exchange, we offer full cooperation in rebuilding the world's defenses and forging alliances with our allies on Arcanis. Frost sips from his glass, studying Raven's three eyes. You ask to reclaim what you call heritage, he says. But you forget, the empire fell because your leaders squandered their power in arrogance. Humans stepped in to save this world from stagnation. Why should I cede authority to those who nearly destroyed their own legacy? Raven's throat pulses. He remains composed. Your people encountered stagnation because the Varian Empire was shrouded in secrets. We worshipped monoliths instead of progress. Humans turned our relics into conduits of knowledge. Now, you possess our technologies, but without our wisdom, you risk repeating the same mistakes. Frost leans forward. And your wisdom assures me that Varian peacekeepers will obey Terran law. Or will your people bristle under human rule, waiting for a chance to lash out? Raven glances at the crystalline wall behind Frost, where holorecords loop, human and Varian laborers side by side, forging new city wings. We bristle at oppression, he admits. But we respect partnerships built on equality. If you honor our traditions and protect our rights, we will honor your laws and protect your people. Frost folds his hands. Words are cheap when forged in crisis. What guarantee do I have that your counselors will not sabotage our alliances, leak our defenses to hostile worlds, or reignite Varian supremacism? Raven exhales softly. As ambassador, I stake my life on our sincerity. But beyond me, there is a beacon. He reaches into his robe and pulls out the Varian data sphere's core fragment, a small shard that pulses faintly. This is a fragment of our legacy, shared in trust. You hold it now under human vault. If my people betray you, destroy this shard, and all remaining secrets will erase themselves, denying us the lattice projectors and advanced defense. That is our bond. Frost's gaze hardens on the shard's glow. He stands, pacing. You offer extortion under the guise of diplomacy. No, Raven replies, rising. We offer a pact, preserve our culture, and we preserve your triumph. Break it, and both sides lose the very technology that saved this world. Outside, the sky bridge's transparent floor swirls with clouds beneath. A silence settles. Frost's aides hover at the edges, waiting for his verdict. After a long moment, Frost turns. I will consider your offer, Ambassador. But the Council must debate it. I will convene my human chamber within the hour. Raven bows. Thank you, Regent Frost. May our peoples find the harmony this world deserves. As Raven retreats, Lena falls into step. That was brave, she says quietly. But do you think he'll agree? Raven's multifaceted gaze drifts to the shard's glow. He has no choice. Without our tech, his armies falter. But more importantly, without our wisdom, his empire has no soul. They walk down the sky bridge, tension lingering in each step. At the terminus, Varian rebels and human workers mingle beneath Varian lanterns. Kaylee Var appears from the shadows, flanked by Melia and Jorin. She offers Raven a curt nod. How did it go? Kaylee asks. We have time, Raven says, handing her the shard. The Regent will present our pact to the Council. Until then, this remains our guarantee. Kaylee's eyes soften. She slips the shard into her belt. Then we hold the line. Once they accept, we light the beacon. In the courtyard below, Varian artisans erect a crystalline tower, half monolith, half human antenna, designed to broadcast the anthem of renewal across the planet and beyond. When activated, its radiant signal will declare to every world that humans and Varians rule side by side. Tesman emerges from the forge, wiping soot from his brow. "We're ready," he announces. "Power conduits are online, and the sphere's data fuels the relay. Once we get clearance, the tower will hum with energy." Raven stands before the half-built beacon, its skeletal frame reaching skyward. He closes his eyes, remembering the hush under the forge's glow, the pulse of the sphere, the promise of shared governance. "Light that lock," he says. Kaylee and Melia press their hands to the monolith's base. Tesman flips a switch. A green pulse courses up the structure, illuminating every girder. Blue and amber rays spiral outward, weaving Varian runes and human sigils across the sky. The signal arcs into space, a ribbon of light stretching toward the stars. Drones and satellites catch it, reflecting the beacon's colors across distant worlds. In the palace courtyard, sedate crowds gaze upward, awe-filling their eyes. Raven lifts his face to the radiance, 3 eyes glistening. "Let them see," he whispers. "Let them know the Empire has a new heart." And so the beacon of defiance shines, a testament to unity forged in fire, a warning to tyrants, and a promise that, at last, Varian and Terran voices rise as one.